stocks getting ready to go 20 laps here at the new Paris Speedway. Our pole setter tonight, driving the Industrial Installations number 96 mini stock out of Elkhart, is Andy Kindig. On the outside of the front row, he'll be driving that Masterscape Landscape and Design sponsored number 24 from Goshen. That's Bumpin' Bob Huffman. Second row on the inside in the Wildlife Wonders Taxidermy Service sponsored number 5 from Middlebury, Merle Yoder. On the outside of the second row, he comes to us from White Pigeon, Michigan, and he's sponsored by the Indiana Electronics and Communications Service there in Mishawaka. That's Dave Eckert in the number 88. Third row inside, sponsored by Lake Lube in North Webster. He'll be driving the number 1 mini stock out of Syracuse. That's Keith Gunkel. To his right door in row number 3, from Shipshawana in the Industrial Installation sponsored number 64, that's Don the Dragon Vitale. Fourth row inside from North Webster, driving car number 14 in that Tranner Graphics sponsored machine, that is Kevin Grubb. On the outside of row number 4, he'll be driving the Mom and Dad sponsored number 45, that's the Big Dog out of Syracuse of Jesse Schaefer. Fifth row inside in the Tim and Wendy Barrick sponsored number 25 out of Elkhart is Tim Kidder. On the outside of row 5, from North Liberty in the 05 machine, sponsored by Monhoot Farms, that is Ben McCullum. Sixth row on the inside, driving the number 88 out of South Bend, that's Jim Newman. To his right, in the Protect Marine number 12, Brian Allen from Cromwell, Indiana. In row number 7, in the Sweet Corn Express out of Leesburg, he'll be driving the Landmark Bar and Grill sponsored number 8, that's Jameson Corn. On the outside of row number 7, he's in that new Paris Auto Service sponsored number 13, that's Squidward Michael Landry. In row 8 on the inside, in the number 26 from Wakarusa, Indiana, that's Gentleman Jim Engelmeyer. And to his right, in row number 8, from Bremen, Indiana, driving the Brimtown Kitchen, sponsored number 1, that's Craig Castle. And in row 9, out of Goshen, driving the Victory by Design Chassis, sponsored number 83, that's the Stickman Tim Barrick. And fast qualifier on the day, the 18th starting position, fast qualifier. In the Monteith Tire, sponsored number 6, Dave Coleman. 18 cars getting ready to go 20 laps in tonight's Dayton-Daytona mini stock feature. And as they come out of turn 4 this time, race fans, let's give these guys a big send-off, just like we do the other drivers. Flick your bics, wave your hands, your hats, and your hankies. And say good luck, guys, and good racing. 18 cars going 20 laps in tonight's Dayton-Daytona mini stock feature. '96 Andy Kindig, he's our pole setter. He'll be on the inside of Bumpin' Bob Kaufman. Car number 24, the front row, as Ted Beebe now shows them the white flag. Next time by, we're going green flag racing in our Dayton-Daytona mini stocks. Fast qualifier Dave Coleman back there at the back of the pack. Looks like the number 1 of Keith Gunkel and the 05 of Ben McCullum elected to go to the tail end of the pack on the start of this one. They'll be bringing them up to speed as they come out of turn 4, and Ted turns them loose. Our Dayton-Daytona mini stock, 4 cylinders, off and racing on our 20-lap feature. 96 Andy Kindig in front of Merle Yoder, the Iron Man out of Middlebury, running in second now. 14 Kevin Grubbs up to third. Running in fourth is the 25 of Tim Kidder. As we got action at the back of the pack, it looks like Don the Dragon Vitale's dragging the 88 of Dave Eckert with him in turn 2. So a caution flag comes out already. as they're kind of tied together over there in turn 2. 88, Dave Eckert out of White Pigeon, Michigan, and Don Vitale from Shipshawana. 64 get tied together, brings out our first caution. Turn second, right behind him, the 14 of Kevin Grubb. 25, Tim Kidder lines up fourth on the restart. 88, Jim Newman from South Bend, Indiana, not to be confused with Ryan Newman, runs in fifth. Then we got the 24, Bumpin' Bob Huffman there in sixth on the restart in front of Jamison Korn in car number 8. 26, Jim Engelmeyer, the one of Craig Castle, restarts back there in ninth in front of the 83 of Tim Barrick as we go back to green flag racing with 1 down and 19 to go. In our Daytona mini stock feature, the 4-cylinder class, they sound like a bunch of bees out there sometimes, was a whiz by here through the main straightaway and into turns 1 and 2. 4-cylinder class, of course, they go 3 wide most of the time here in our racing surface. Right now, 14, Kevin Grubb's looking on the inside of the number 5 of Merle Yoder, the Iron Man. He's sliding to the high side, and of course, Kevin Grubb on the inside groove's got the move. He's up to second, I do believe. 96, Andy Kindig right there on front. Merle Yoder falls back to third. 25, Tim Kidder right now there in fourth with 88, Jim Newman running in fifth, but moving up on the outside, here comes the Sweet Corn Express of Jamison Korn. He's working the outside groove. He's up to fifth. Back there in seventh is the 26 of Gentleman Jim Engelmeyer, and we've got 45, the big dog Jesse Schaefer spinning out, coming out of turn 4, bringing out our second caution in tonight's Daytona mini stock feature. So we did get a few more laps in. We got 4 laps down, 16 to go. I had a chance to catch up with a comments earlier today from the soft-spoken number 1 of Craig Castle as we get them set and ready to go back to racing with 4 in and 16 to go. They're coming out of turn 4, and Ted turns them loose. We're off and racing again in our Daytona mini stock. 96, Andy Kindig out in front. Number 5, Merle Yoder sees himself in second. 14, Kevin Grubb back to third. 25, Tim Kidder trying to hold off the charging number 8 of Jamison Korn as Jamison Korn moves to fourth on lap number 5. 25, Tim Kidder into the side of the 88 of Jim Newman. Saves that 5th place spot by doing that. Jim Newman running in 6th. Now we got a battle up front, side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel racing in front 4 spots. But somebody's slipping off the racing surface. It's the 26 of Jim Engelmeyer. Jim Engelmeyer got into the side of this somebody over there, and there goes Dave Coleman around in turn 1. We've got action all over the track in our Daytona mini stocks as our third yellow flag will come out. This time for the 26 of Jim Engelmeyer, and I believe the 6 of Dave Coleman. I'm not quite sure how they'll score that. 12 of Brian Allen restarts back there in 15th in front of Dave Eckert in the 88. Jesse Schaefer in the 45, and gentleman Jim Engelmeyer rounding out our field with 6 down and 14 to go as Ted Beebe puts them on their final pace lap. Single file formation restart with 14 laps to go. Ted Beebe will be watching them as they come out of turn 4. Merle Yoder back on the accelerator. Number 5, the Iron Man out of Middlebury, though. Wonders Wildlife Taxidermy Service Special takes off. He's our leader, but here comes the number 8, the Sweet Corn Express of Jamison Korn, works the outside of Andy Kindig for second. Jamison Korn and the number 8's up to second. Andy Kindig's back to third as we complete lap number 7. Number 8, Jamison Korn, looking for that lead on the inside down the billboard backstretch. And number 8, Jamison Korn, will be our new leader on lap number 8. The number 8 car of Jamison Korn overtakes the number 5 of Merle Yoder. So we got a 3-car battle for fourth back there as 83, Tim Barrick tries to make his way up. There goes the big dog, Jesse Schaefer, spinning out of control again down here in the main straightaway. He brings out another caution as we've got our 4th yellow coming out for the 45 of Jesse Schaefer. Then we've got 1 Keith Gunkel, 64 Don the Dragon Vitale, 24, Bumpin' Bob Huffman. 88, Dave Eckert. The 12 of Brian Allen, Jesse Schaefer, Jim Engelmeyer, and Craig Castle at the tail end of the pack as we go back to racing with 8 down and 12 to go. Ted turns them loose. Number 1, Craig Castle, and the 45 of Jesse Schaefer getting together back there at the back of the pack. That's something else. They're okay, though. They were just rubbing paint there on that last lap. Sweet Corn Express of Jameson Corn out in front in car number 8. Halfway mark will come out this time for him as he crosses the stripe in front of me. Number 8, Jameson Corn. 5, Merle Yoder running there in second. 83, Tim Barrick, Stickman, sticking it up there to fourth now as he gets around Andy Kindig. 25, Tim Kidder's running in third. Here comes Dave Coleman. He's up to fifth now with 9 laps to go this time by. Number 1, Keith Gunkel, looks like he's headed for the pits on lap number 11. 45, Jesse Schaefer has finally taken it to the infield as he had some problems with his big dog machine. 12 down, 8 to go for the number 8 of Jameson Corn. The 5 of Merle Yoder still hanging on to second, but 83, Tim Barrick's on the move. Number 6, Dave Coleman running in fourth. Tim Kidder in the 25 is back there in fifth. And our leader's not our leader any longer. Number 8, Jameson Corn's over his time. We'll have the facts and figures on him in a little bit. Our new leader is now the number 5. As we've got one overheating over there in turn 3, it's the 05, I believe, of Ben McCullum. So caution flag number 5 coming out. We got water on the racing surface in turn 3. Boy, what a tough break for Ben McCullum in car number 05. He was doing so well tonight, running there in 10th before his car went up in smoke, so to speak, or it was really hot and overheated on him. This time by with 7 more laps to go. Okay, 15 cars still racing on the racing surface. Number 5, Merle Yoder, our leader. 83, Tim Barrick, and 6, Dave Coleman running in third as the green flag waves. They're off and racing, 7 more laps. And on that restart, Tim Barrick, the stick man, sticks his nose underneath Merle Yoder and takes that lead going down the Billboard backstretch. Dave Coleman moves to second, Yoder back to third. As we complete lap 14, it is still 83, Tim Barrick up front, but Dave Coleman on the move on the outside groove with 6 laps to go. Number 6, Dave Coleman trying to work the outside groove, trying to get that fast qualifying machine up there to the front spot. This time by, they'll have 15 down and 5 laps left. Number 13, Michael Landry now working his way up to third as Squidward works his way around the number 5 of Merle Yoder up there in the Billboard backstretch and into turn 3. 16 down, 4 to go. Number 6, Dave Coleman, still trying to work the outside groove to get around the 83 of Tim Barrick. 25, Tim Kidder sliding off the main straightaway and into the infield. I think he'll set the rest of this one out as we've got 17 down and 3 to go with Dave Coleman working the outside of the 83 of Tim Barrick. This ought to be an exciting last 3 laps. Dave Coleman on the inside in turn 3. Dave Coleman into the 83. 83, Tim Barrick spinning out in front of the number 6 of Dave Coleman brings out caution flag number 6. I'm not quite sure how they're going to score that, because I don't know if number 6 touched him. It looked like the 83 might have overdrove it in turn 4 as the 6 of Dave Coleman was going underneath of him. We'll have to see how they score that one with 17 down and 3 to go. We'll check it out here in just a minute, and we'll find out who our leaders are going to be. But tough break for Tim Barrick. Car number 83, we know he'll have to go to the back of the pack as the caution flag came out for his spin out in turn 4. And they're adjusting the scoreboard, and our leaderboard will show that 13, Michael Landry, is our leader. Number 6, Dave Coleman, and the 83 of Tim Barrick will have to restart at the tail end of the pack with 3 laps left. Tough break for those two guys. 96 of Andy Kindig, the 64 of Don Vitale, the 12 of Brian Allen, the 88 of Dave Eckert. That's your top 10. Then you got Jamison Korn in car number 8 running there in 11th. 25 Tim Kidder back there to 12th. Bumping Bob Huffman in at 24. 83 Tim Barrick, and the 6 of Dave Coleman at the tail end of the pack on the restart. As they come out of turn 4, Ted's going to look them over. 3 laps to go. He gives them the green light. They're off and racing with 3 to go. Squidward, number 13, Michael Landry, trying to hook up and win his first feature for 2006. 88, Dave Eckert spinning out back there in the back half of the pack. Caution flag will come out. We'll have another restart. As Dave Eckert spun out in front of a whole bunch of people, including 25 Tim Kidder, the number 8 of Jamison Korn, and the 24 bumping Bob Huffman. He got bumped over there in turn 1. 66 Andy Kindig is in 7th. 64 Don the Dragon Vitale there in 8th. The 12 of Brian Allen sets there in 9th. 25 Tim Kidder's 10th. 83 Tim Barrick finds himself up to 11th already with the number 6 of Dave Coleman right behind him in 12th. Dave Eckert, the 88, sets 13th. And bumping Bob Huffman rounds out the field. 14 cars out of the 18 starters that we had. Going 3 more laps to finish tonight's 20-lap Daytona mini stock feature. We've only had 6 cautions out of 17 laps. It's been kind of a caution-riddled mini stock feature. All right, they're lined back up, single file. Ted will be looking at them as they come out of turn 4. He gives them the green light. He looks, he sees what he likes. He gives them the green. They're off and racing for 3 more laps. 88 Jim Newman and gentleman Jim Engelmeyer in a 26 battling for 3rd side by side. Wheel to wheel in turns 3 and 4. Craig Castle in the number 1 running in 5th as we complete lap 18. 2 more to go. Gentlemen, Jim Engelmeyer in the 26 on the outside of Jim Newman in 88. He's getting the squeeze as the number 1 of Craig Castle gets on the inside. That's the battle for 3rd. 3-way battle for 3rd with the white flag flying. They got 1 more to go. And Engelmeyer going sideways. Look out. Engelmeyer sideways. Tim Kidder into the side door. Caution flag comes out. And it looks like we'll have a green-white checkered situation coming up to finish tonight's 20-lap Daytona mini stock feature. Whoa, that was close. That was a close one. Some line back up, single file formation restart. Our leader is a 13 of Squidward, Michael Landry. Right behind him, restarting in 2nd, is Merle Yoder in that number 5. Now number 1, Craig Castle, finds himself in 3rd. Jim Newman in 88 is back to 4th. And the 14 of Kevin Grubb rounds out the top 5 with 2 laps to go. 96 Andy Kindig in 6th. 64 Don Vitale there in 7th. Brian Allen in the 12 is in 8th. 83 Tim Barrick worked his way to 9th. Dave Coleman's in 10th in car number 6. Then Tim Kidder, Dave Eckert, and bumping Bob Huffman. 13 cars out of the 18 still remaining with 2 to go. As we have a green-white checker as Ted Beebe gives them the green. They're off and racing for 2 more laps. 2 more laps, no more cautions, we hope, as we try to wrap this one up tonight. Jim Newman in 88 working on the outside, trying to get back up there to that 3rd place spot. White flag flies for Squidward in car number 13 out in front. Merle Yoder in the 5's running in 2nd, but Newman now moves up on the outside. Jim Newman trying to get by Craig Castle for that 3rd place finish. Castle's back to 4th. Checkered flag will fly this time for Squidward. Car number 13, Michael Landry. And they get this one in 7 cautions later. 20 laps complete.